Hey, what's up everybody? I just wanted to make this video to introduce myself to people that I don't know who are in this group. And for people who are interested in joining the 3-month embodiment revival course, I just wanted to share a little bit about my experience working with Courtney, going through the embodiment course, going through all the levels of the Humanus Mystery School, and share a little bit about what I've gained, the benefits that I've gotten, and also what were my challenges. I discovered Courtney in 2019 on Instagram, just found her page, and I was already really into meditation, and I was doing Wim Hof breathing at the time and studying holistic health, and so I really resonated with her message, and I felt very intuitively called to her breath illumination practice, but I didn't take immediate action on it. I would send her messages asking questions from time to time. I remember asking once, how does her breath work compare to Wim Hof breathing? And she told me that her breathing is light years beyond Wim Hof. And at the time, it's funny thinking back because I was thinking, how could anything be better than Wim Hof? How is that even possible? I had powerful experiences doing Wim Hof breathing. I'd been doing it daily for about 2-3 years at that point. And so I didn't really believe it at first, and I didn't sign up for her mystery school. And I kept asking questions occasionally, and then eventually she just sent me a link to her Facebook group and said, here's my gift to you. And still I didn't try it for a good 6 months. It was in 2020. I committed to myself to try the breath illumination practice for 40 days in a row, and I did that and immediately could see that it was much more powerful than Wim Hof. And it's hard for me to let go of my routines. I get very stuck in them, so I didn't let go of Wim Hof immediately. I did both breathwork practices for a while, and slowly Wim Hof just became less and less, and then faded away altogether. And now I never do it anymore. I only do the breath illumination practice. And I've tried a lot of breathwork practices. I did Kundalini yoga for a while, so I did breath of fire a bunch. I did holotropic breathing many times, all sorts of different breathworks. What I came to realize through experience with breath illumination is that all of those other breathworks are very based in the sympathetic nervous system, and it's just like getting high off of hyperventilation. And that didn't give me the results that I wanted, and I didn't realize it until I did Courtney's breath illumination practice. Because what I came to realize is that when you're doing those hyperventilation breathings, it's like bringing in all of this higher subtle energy, all this electricity, but it has nowhere for it to ground. It has nowhere for it to go. It's like having 100 volts in a 50 volt circuit. You just circulate all this energy and then it just goes away because there's nowhere for it to go. There's no way to integrate it. And that's what I love about the breath illumination practice, is that it's incredibly grounding. It brings in the electricity but grounds it into the physical body in a way that allows you to actually use it in your daily life. To actually grow with it. And to me, it has benefit on all levels: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Physically, you're getting all of this benefit because when you use the diaphragm and expand it with your breath, you're getting pumping of the blood, you're massaging the organs and the glands, you're moving the lymphatic fluid, you're flossing the spine. And then mentally and emotionally, I get huge benefit from it. It's like a reset button, because when you're activating the parasympathetic nervous system in that way, you're releasing all of these feel-good hormones. So if I have a bad day, or I get angry or frustrated or upset, I know that I can lay on the ground for 10 minutes and do breath illumination, and it'll bring me back to reality. It'll help me process anything I'm going through. And then it has spiritual benefit to me as well, because I've had a daily spiritual practice for the last almost 8 years. I've tried numerous things: meditation, yoga, hatha yoga, kundalini yoga, Wim Hof breathing, holotropic breathing, tai chi, and I gave each one a solid go, doing it for most of the time at least a few months or a year, every single day, or multiple years. And I would get benefit from that, but nothing quite like this. This has been a way for me to grow myself in a way that I didn't know was possible. I've been doing the breath illumination now every day for at least 2-3 years at this point. I started in 2020, so yeah, 3 years at this point. And I don't think I've missed a single day. I do 20 or 30 minutes in the morning. There's been occasionally where it's less, but most of the time it's 20 or 30 minutes. And it's become a bedrock for my life. It's something that I have that will keep me grounded and that I use as a tool whenever I need a little extra grounding or processing of emotion. So to me, this is the most powerful breath work that I've ever done. And if you love meditation or Tai Chi or anything like that, it's a perfect complement to it. I love doing the breath work and then doing Qigong afterwards. And it's just like a way to get my system working. And I feel like doing it without the breath work just isn't the same. But no matter what, the breathing is always a practice that I never skip, because I've seen tremendous results and benefit from it. So after starting the breath work in 2020, I knew that the trigger point release was next, but I procrastinated on it for a while. And then Courtney went off the internet, went off Facebook, and I lost access to that course. And then pretty soon afterwards, she came back on Mighty Networks with her courses. And so I signed up for the trigger point release and the Temple Acoustics course and tried out the self-massage. And it was uncomfortable for me at first because my body was just loaded with trigger points everywhere. So there was discomfort in getting those out, but I could feel the immediate benefit of circulation and blood flow that happens when you get rid of those trigger points, those tight points in the body. But I wasn't very consistent with it, so when I would go back to it, it would be uncomfortable again. And so this continued for about a year until Courtney did her first embodiment revival course, which was 6 weeks, and I signed up for that. And it helped me to be more disciplined because I wanted to get to the higher levels in the course. And so I would keep up with the trigger point release. And once you get past the initial couple sessions, it really starts to feel quite good. It becomes easy. And I still do it at least once a week for each session, lower body, upper body, and the abdominals, because I just want to keep everything circulating well and flowing well. And I know that if I don't, it'll start to get tight again. But it's a way for me to keep my blood flow and my circulation open and my body feeling good and new. It's like a renewed feeling every time that I do the trigger point release, the self-massage. And the Temple Acoustics is incredibly powerful. I can't recommend that one highly enough. The breath illumination by itself is powerful. When you add in not just the breath, but the use of sound with mantra combined with your intention, it's truly magical to me. And it's like an instant creation of spaciousness within my body and my mind. It feels like I'm floating and sinking at the same time. It's a really unique feeling. And I usually add in 1 or 2, sometimes more cycles of toning the chakras with my practice every morning. And it's a beautiful practice. And then when you get to core consciousness, this is a really important area which I think a lot of people aren't aware. I had been studying holistic health, so I knew about the inner unit of the core and how it differs from the outer muscles of the core and why it's important, because you have the inner weight belt, the transverse abdominis, to stabilize your spine. And a lot of people that get sleepy because of sitting all day, eating foods that inflame their gut, which shuts off the inner core, makes it hard for it to turn on. And then people become numb there and they don't know how to turn it on. So if you tell someone like that you tell them to turn on their core, they're just going to activate the outer muscles of the core. And that doesn't stabilize the spine. And Courtney's way of going about this core consciousness is awesome, because not only is it teaching you how to use your core properly, which is important for anything from exercise, just picking up something off the floor, but it's also a way to create that intra-abdominal pressure, which moves energy in the body and moves blood flow and moves the cerebral spinal fluid. So it's very useful on a physical level, just in daily life, but also on a spiritual level as well. And then you get into spinal hydraulics, and this is where it gets really fun for me, because when you use the peanut ball massage balls up the spine for a good 20 or 30 minutes, I get off that, and after that practice, I just feel like I have a completely brand new body. It's amazing to go through the spine like that, and it releases so much blood flow and circulation. It really feels quite amazing. And it's probably my favorite practice that I've learned in the whole mystery school. There's really nothing quite like it. It's a beautiful meditation, and I just feel completely brand new afterwards. And then when you get through spinal hydraulics into fascial tectonics, it's really awesome body weight exercises that train the fascial trains in the body. And when I first started learning that was about a year ago now, I thought I was in decent shape, and I was surprised how out of breath I was just from a few reps of those exercises. It was training my body in a way I hadn't experienced before. As Courtney would say, training smarter, not harder. And it has perfect carryover to daily life, because you're training the way that the fascia moves around the body, the fascial slings. And so it's perfect functional training that will carry over into anything you do in life, whether it's just regular living or any kind of sport or activity or exercise. And I was amazed to see the results from being consistent with that practice, the way it changed my body and the way it changed how I feel, and how I feel just moving through the world in my body. I feel much more present in my body, much more aware, much more grounded in my body, instead of being cut off at the neck and living solely in my head. So that has been the most profound thing about doing fascial tectonics. And so, like I said, that was about a year ago, and then I started working with Courtney one-on-one, as well as doing a second embodiment revival course, another 6-week course. And working with Courtney one-on-one has been life-changing. It's helped me to go so much deeper into these 6 levels, but also start moving into strength training and also into sexual alchemy, which is where I'm at right now. Integrating that with all the other levels, it's very powerful work, and I'm learning a lot and growing through this experience. And the strength training has been profound as well. Courtney is a wealth of knowledge, and so it's very functional training that allows me to carry it over into any sport that I want to do or any daily life. I've been amazed at the results, just the way that I feel and my coordination and my energy levels. And for example, I tried water skiing as a kid, and I couldn't even get up on the skis. And I tried it last summer after just a few months of doing the fascial tectonics and other exercises I've learned from working with Courtney, and I could get up immediately and could stay up as long as I want. My balance felt so much better. I mean, it was amazing to see the results just from a few months of work, and now it's been a year, and I'm just continuing to be amazed at the results I'm getting and how I feel. More importantly than looking in the mirror, just how I feel in my body and my mind. And so to Courtney, I say thank you. I'm so grateful for you and for your mystery school and for these practices and these teachings. And for anyone who's interested in doing the embodiment revival course, I highly recommend it. If you're watching this video right now and you've made it this far and you're interested in this course, you're probably like me, where your soul feels intuitively called to learning this work. And to me, this is work at the highest level, the spiritual level, because with all the craziness going on in the world today, these are the practices that allow us to remain truly human and alive, and to remain grounded in our humanness and not get caught up in all the crazy bullshit going on. So if you feel that call, I always say heed it. Take the dive, take the time and energy to invest in yourself, to grow yourself. I know from experience that some of this stuff brings up resistance. It can be hard. For me, it was hard to slow down with the breathing. It was hard to do the slow exhale at first, but now that's my favorite part. To me, that's the best part of it. And at first, I could barely do it. It was hard for me to do trigger point release because it was uncomfortable, but now I love it, and I make sure never to miss it. You know, it can be hard to bring awareness back to the core and to learn how to properly use it and to retrain neural pathways that you may have forgotten. But once you do this work, you see the benefit, and you see how much better you feel in your body and in your mind as well, because the body is the mind. Everything builds upon itself within this framework. You know, like the breath is the foundation for everything. Without the breath, you can't properly do trigger point release or turn on your core, create intra-abdominal pressure and move energy, or learn how to mobilize your spine, or exercise. Everything stems from the breath. It's the most important thing in our body and our mind. And Courtney has so much experience and knowledge and wisdom, so I highly recommend taking advantage of this while it's possible, and really taking the time to put the work in, because it's worth it, and getting through that resistance, you know, because that a lot of this is shadow work. To go through these kind of practices, we have to face ourselves. We have to deal with things that might be uncomfortable to deal with, and that's part of growing. And that's been my experience, even though I've gone through a lot of procrastination with this stuff. Once I got through it and got into it, I became very disciplined with it, because I could see and feel the results, and I could see and feel how I was growing and changing in very positive ways. So working with Courtney for me has been life-changing, and I don't know where or who I'd be without it. So much gratitude for that, and thank you for watching this far, if you've made it this far, and heed the call. Become your best self. Cheers.